Hi viewers, today we have Umang Arora. He's from University of Michigan studying his MBA at Ross School of Business and will be sharing his journey with the aspirant. So Umang, how are you? Welcome to Connect Bud.
Here, I'm really good, and thanks for providing me this opportunity.
And I hope you are staying safe. You and your loved ones are, staying locked up and safe.
Yep, a bit bored of the lockdown, but still, yeah.
Yeah. So let's begin with your educational background. Tell us from where did you do your bachelor's and what is your major in your MBA, if you can talk about that.
Sure. So, I'm originally from India, and I, growing up, I decided to go into engineering. So,
Mm-hmm.
I did my chemical engineering from IIT Kanpur,
Okay.
and uh, then out of the college, I went directly into consulting and data analytics job.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to move up that ladder in consulting. So MBA was a necessity.
Okay.
And that is why I came to Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And here we do not have a major as such, like as some colleges have in finance or
Mm-hmm.
strategy. We don't have any major, but tend to take courses that are more inclined to strategy and business knowledge as such, basically.
Okay. Okay. And for how many years did you work in India, Umang?
Yeah, so I worked for 4 years in India
4 years in
before
India, and then
coming
you.
to US. Yes.
Okay. And tell us about the colleges you applied in US for masters.
Okay, so I have a different, like a bit of different journey in this because I
Mm-hmm.
only applied to two colleges, different from my peers who applied to multiple colleges. So my
Mm-hmm.
plan was to apply for two colleges in the first round and rest of the colleges in the second round because I was not very well
Okay.
prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So I applied to Yale and Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Yale, my interview did not go very well, but
Mm-hmm.
at Ross, I got an admit and I also got a full scholarship.
Okay.
So then it was an easy decision because I had talked to a lot of alums of Ross,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that the culture fit was great, and I knew
Okay.
that getting a full scholarship elsewhere would be a bit difficult. So I
Mm-hmm.
decided to come to Ross itself.
Okay. And do you have any idea if university gave more, preference to your GMAT score or your GPA before
Uh,
deciding to give you a full scholarship?
Sure. So my GPA was not very good in
Mm-hmm.
undergrad. It was on a lower side. So I knew
Mm-hmm.
that my GMAT score has to be high enough to compensate that.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a good GMAT score, but
Okay.
I do not think that it is one of the major ingredients in deciding the scholarship admit.
Okay, okay. Now that you're talking about GMAT, would you like to talk about your GMAT score and for how many months you prepared for this exam?
Okay, so my GMAT score is 750,
Mm-hmm.
and I prepared for around I think 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
but that was because I was switching jobs and I have like a 1 month free.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if somebody is doing the preparation with a job, he or she needs more time for sure. But I got
Okay.
this 1 month like dedicated and 1 month with the job.
Mm-hmm.
So around 2 months or 2.5 months I gave to GMAT,
Okay.
and I mostly like inclined towards the official resources,
Mm-hmm.
and I took one test series.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, most of those resources itself.
Okay. And was there a cutoff that the university was entertaining in GMAT?
There's
Official
no
cutoff.
cutoff as such as
Okay.
which is true for most of the US schools, but
Mm-hmm.
then coming from Indian pool of students, universities do have some expectations that
Okay.
we tend to have a higher GMAT scale. So
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, everybody from India in Ross has
Mm-hmm.
like a GMAT score at a higher, like higher inclined towards higher spectrum. But
Mm-hmm.
that said, like it's just one of the criteria. If you have like outshined or have a peak in resume in somewhere else, then
Mm-hmm.
a lower GMAT can be compensated for that.
Okay, okay, perfect. Now let's talk about TOEFL. How many months did you prepare for TOEFL, or I should say
Uh,
weeks?
I no, I would like to disappoint you there because I did not give TOEFL
Okay.
because most of the TOEFL schools I planned to give it in second round, but I did
Mm-hmm.
not apply in those schools, so I did not need to give TOEFL anyways.
Okay.
Ross does
And
not ask for TOEFL, by the way.
oh, okay, that was one of the criteria. Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us about your visa interview. How did you prepare for it? And do you have any tips or suggestions for the aspiring student?
Yeah, one tip is that do not panic
Okay.
because it is like because you have done everything, you have got the admit, you're excited,
Mm.
and there's this one thing visa which you start overthinking about because it
Mhm.
can like stop you from going there and you can't do anything about it. But that is not the case. Students, and if you're coming to Ross, like Ross has a good name, so
Mhm.
you tend to get visa. So my first advice would be do not overthink or do not panic.
Okay.
Second advice would be start early for sure.
Mhm.
So if I myself started a bit late and that led to being scared of it. So
Mhm.
start early, complete your paperwork early, get your I-20 early. If those things are done, then it's a smooth journey and you can
Okay.
do like easily. One thing
Mhm.
would be like there are a lot of resources which say like what are the questions that are generally asked and
Mhm.
how you should answer them. So make sure that you read them. They are helpful because there are some things which you should or should not say during an interview.
Okay.
So make sure that you read those online materials.
Okay, and now let's talk about your loan. Since your program is fully funded, so did I am presuming that you didn't take any student loan, but do you have any recommendation in terms of banks or financial institute that your other friends would have taken, which is really good for students?
Yeah. Uh, so most of the
Mm-hmm.
Indian students
Mm-hmm.
or internationals tend
Mm-hmm.
to take loans from
Okay.
Prodigy Finance or Quorum.
Mm-hmm.
So Prodigy Finance and Quorum both do not ask for any kind of collateral when you are coming for an
Okay.
MBA. So that is a good
Mm-hmm.
thing. And they have a selected list of schools, which is quite a wide range for
Mm-hmm.
which they do provide this loan. The only catch is that Prodigy do not provide like the full loan, does not cover the full tuition.
Mm-hmm.
It would only give you 80 or 85% of the tuition fee, where
Okay.
or total living expenses, whereas Quorum
Mm-hmm.
provides you a 100% loan. Apart
Okay.
from that, a few people have taken loan from US banks, but
Mm-hmm.
for that you need a co-signer, which is somebody living in a US and having a
Okay.
good credit score.
Mm-hmm.
While few of them have taken a loan from back in India,
Mm-hmm.
but then you need a collateral, a large enough collateral to take this kind of loan.
Okay. So let's talk about the campus size and infrastructure. How big is the campus and what kind of infrastructure
Yeah,
do?
like I'm not sure about the size of the campus, like how to tell, but it like I was amazed by seeing the campus for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It has like got everything which you can think of, like basic stuff like gym, library, uh, meeting rooms, conference
Mm-hmm.
rooms, classrooms, like everything. Uh, it is like if you see rest of the University of Michigan, Ross
Mm-hmm.
School is fairly new,
Okay.
so the building reflects that,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean there's nothing to complain about the building.
And now, since you studied from IIT Kharagpur, which is one of the very prestigious
Kanpur.
universities, sorry, Kanpur, yeah, which is one of the very prestigious universities in India. So how do you see these university different? How are university in US different from India in terms of infrastructure and other things? Umang, you there?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you for the
Okay,
last
okay.
bit. Could you repeat
No
that?
problem. I'll repeat it again for you. So since you studied from IIT Kanpur, I want you to tell our viewers how is university in terms of infrastructures and other facilities different from India, and US. What is the difference
Uh,
that you see? Major difference?
okay. In terms of the facilities, not in
Yeah,
terms of the culture or
yeah.
anything. Uh, In terms of facilities, there is a like considerable difference. Not considerable, but there is a difference in
Mm-hmm.
terms like basic difference between US and India is also holds true for IIT and ROS in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that like things are more easy here. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have a Starbucks inside your campus,
Okay.
or you got coffee machines, or you got a nicer cafe. So
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, like there are more things to do, or
Mm-hmm.
more things to hang out, more places to hang out with your friends
Mm-hmm.
in that sense. But like IIT campus is also my alma mater, so I'm pretty happy with that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's talk about the life inside the campus. If you can tell us a little about it, the environment, is it like people always studious, or are you they all chilling? If you
Yeah,
can, yeah.
for sure. So first of all, so there's a basic difference in the sense that it in India, the IIT has a campus where all the people live and stay.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to go to lectures there itself. Here,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a campus kind of things. Like there's not a place where everybody lives. There is
Mm-hmm.
a building, a huge building, where you go to attend your lectures and everything. But then
Mm-hmm.
everybody lives in the city. Like there's no
Okay.
campus as such. But Ann Arbor is a university town, uh,
Mm-hmm.
so most of the people live nearby.
Okay.
It, which is a great thing because you bump into everybody and you get to know everybody. So and
Mm-hmm.
that connections last.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from studies, like people are always doing something. Like you have to, like I have to say no to half of the things, and
Okay.
then do I attend a lot of things.
Okay.
So there's always something going on. Like each day, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, uh, we have a club assigned to each days, like a bar or a
Hmm.
club where everybody
Mm-hmm.
goes, like all the Ross people go. So
Okay.
stuff like that, and then the people are playing soccer, basketball. So
Mm-hmm.
like, all the fun activities are going on, whereas academics and recruiting is also one of the major chunk of the life.
Okay. And since you're talking about the clubs, I want to know if you have, participated in few of the club whom you would describe as your favorites.
Yeah,
In
sure. So there are two kind of clubs here.
mm-hmm.
First is the professional clubs, which help you in recruiting. Basically, they are consulting clubs, or
Mm-hmm.
they are marketing clubs,
Mm-hmm.
finance clubs. So
Mm-hmm.
these would help. You have to enroll into them, or you want to enroll into them, so that you get guidance from MBAs, from your seniors or from your peers, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, I was part of consulting club, which was really helpful. And apart
Mm-hmm.
from that, there are fun clubs like gourmet club where you can learn baking,
Mm-hmm.
or gaming club where you can play games, or whiskey club where you can drink whiskey. So stuff like
Okay.
that. I was part of improv club, which is like
Mm-hmm.
which helps you, which teaches you improvisations, and improv is an art form where you do
Mm-hmm.
theater but without a script.
Okay.
So it's really funny because nobody knows what they are doing or saying or acting.
Okay.
So it was really fun. Yeah.
Okay. So other than clubs, I want to understand if a university is famous for any sports activity or program as such.
Yeah. So University of Michigan is huge on football.
Mm-hmm.
Have a major football league team, and
Mm-hmm.
we have the second largest stadium in the world.
Okay.
So so there is like most of the incoming MBA students buy season pass, and
Mm-hmm.
every Thursday or Friday, like when the season is on, there are football matches, and
Mm-hmm.
it's an event in itself. So you wake up at 9 a.m., you go to a place to party, then you go to a football match, and then
Uh,
they go to a bar or club to party if you win
okay.
or if you lose.
So
So
too
football
many
is
things happening, a very
yeah,
happening life in general.
quite
Okay. So tell us about the other facilities. Tell us about libraries and labs inside the college.
sure. So uh, there are no, I don't know if there are labs or such because I haven't seen it or haven't had a use of a lab as such.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a library and not a single library. So there's a Ross library, but there are
Mm-hmm.
also multiple University of Michigan libraries.
Mm-hmm.
So Ross is just a MBA school. There are multiple schools in under University of Michigan. So
Mm-hmm.
there is Shapiro Library. There are multiple different libraries.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, they are well staffed. Yeah.
Okay. And what about gym and recreational active facilities inside the campus?
Yeah, so there are gyms, and so they are all free for all the University of Michigan students. And there's
Mm-hmm.
one Ross gym as well. There are multiple University of Michigan gyms,
Mm-hmm.
which is free for Ross students too. So depending
Okay.
on where you live, you might want to go to the gym which is nearest to you.
Okay.
And
And
then those gyms also
recreational.
have like squash courts or tennis courts. So those all
Okay.
stuff are there.
Okay. And what about healthcare and medical facility inside the campus?
Okay, so like there's no inside the campus as such, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously, as a US student, you have to have an insurance policy with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just a second, I need to put my laptop on charging.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about that. So,
Hmm.
the Ann Arbor has a very good hospital, like
Mm-hmm.
better than Detroit, which is the biggest city in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, like you have the facility and you have the
Mm-hmm.
insurance. So it's pretty much like good healthcare situation here, I think. Like
Okay.
I haven't used it till now, thankfully,
Mm-hmm.
but I have heard about it and it's good.
Okay, it's good. And let's talk about career center and career service facilities inside the university. If you have taken their help for, internship or anything.
Yeah, sure, sure. So I have used their help a lot for
Mm-hmm.
internship, and they're really super helpful. So
Mm-hmm.
they are the ones that keep talking to the companies, and they call the companies to the campus, and they have
Mm-hmm.
the relationship with the companies. And they're also the ones that arrange sessions where you want to talk to the companies or learn about the companies or gain
Mm-hmm.
some skills. So these
Mm-hmm.
sessions are there because like as soon as you come into an MBA program, 1 month or 2 months later, these sessions starts happening, and
Mm-hmm.
then you need to go to these sessions. Then you go to the consulting club, which is also a part of their consulting office. Career center
Career center.
initiative. Yeah, so
Okay.
you go to these clubs, you go to these sessions. Other than
Mm-hmm.
that, sometimes they have like you can book appointments for mock interviews. You can book appointment to review your resume.
Okay.
So all these services are there, and we also have like the career center also assigns MBA tools, which are our seniors, who
Mm-hmm.
help us during these journeys. So that also
Okay.
helps.
Okay, now coming to on-campus jobs, have you done any on-campus job and how easy is to get into TA and RA jobs?
I haven't
Mm-hmm.
because, frankly speaking, in the first year, there's not much time to do
Mm-hmm.
so because you're getting to know your friends, and then recruiting starts, and recruiting is pretty intense here.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not know of anybody who had a part-time job as a MBA one, which is the incoming
Mm-hmm.
like first year of MBA. In
Mm-hmm.
MBA two, yeah, sure, there are TA jobs and RA jobs, and it's not very difficult. There is like if you do good in a course in your first year, you can
Mm-hmm.
like send a mail to a professor saying that I'm interested in a TA job,
Okay.
and he would most likely offer you that position for the second year.
Okay. And what about internship? Did you do any internship, Umang?
So I'll be doing my internship starting after 15 days.
Okay.
So yeah, we do internships between our first and second year, which is the summer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I would be doing internship after 15 days. My internship
You
starts.
want to talk about the firm with whom you're going to do internship?
Sure. So I am doing internship with Amazon, and
Okay.
yeah, I'm going in the senior product manager role. So
Okay.
yeah, pretty much excited about that.
And tell us about any restriction that university has in terms of internship eligibility for international student.
Oh, could you repeat that? Sorry, I lost you.
uh, does university have any uh, eli- uh, restriction that a student has to complete these many credits or semesters and only then he will be able to internship, especially for international
To
student?
internship.
Yeah.
I mean, there are limits on credits, like the minimum requirement of credits that
Mm-hmm.
you have to like pass the first year, and
Mm-hmm.
like each semester there are minimum credits, but
Mm-hmm.
that is the only requirement, and like there's
Which.
no which you have to like fulfill to do an internship. And other than that, as an
Mm-hmm.
international student, obviously you want to have a CPT which everybody applies and get.
Okay.
So that is the only restriction.
That's the only criteria. Okay. And now that you have successfully got into internship with a big company like Amazon, during the time when a lot of people are losing job, would you like to recommend some coursework that can help student in getting internship, especially in your program or field?
So I'm going into a tech field. So
Mm-hmm.
in tech such as Amazon or Google
Mm-hmm.
or Facebook or something like that, uh, one thing is it's always helpful if you have some basic knowledge of coding. Like
Mm-hmm.
not it, you don't need to know coding or anything. You just have should have that mindset where you're interested in tech.
Mm-hmm.
You like to read about it, and when you
Mm-hmm.
do that, you start understanding a bit of coding and stuff like that.
Okay.
One thing would be to good thing to learn is basic tools around data, because now
Okay.
not even tech, like every firm and every company utilizes a lot of data
Mm-hmm.
come up with a result. So it is always good to have some basic knowledge on how to draw inferences from data.
Okay. And my next question was related to housing. Do you stay off campus or on campus? And also, if a student have to look for a suitable accommodation, what would be the reliable sources to find one?
Cool. So I am personally living off campus,
Mm-hmm.
but I am the very few of the international students who are doing that. So
Okay.
the best resource would be asking a senior where they live and like
Mm-hmm.
taking a house from them, because when they're graduating, like they usually
Mm.
sublet like start a new lease
Sublease.
with some, yeah.
Yeah.
Or so there are two major apartment buildings here,
Mm-hmm.
which are where most of the Ross people live. So most of
Okay.
people choose from those two buildings,
Either of
and
those.
yeah, and few of them live and in an independent house or an off-campus housing situation.
Hmm. Okay, now let's talk about your favorite professor at university and what is that you really like about the professor, which makes him or
Okay.
her your favorite.
Yeah, my favorite professor was my accounting professor Anna.
Mm-hmm.
So she was super cool. Like I would tell why she's my favorite. First of
Mm-hmm.
all, I hated accounting because I did not. But anyways, so she actually made it super interesting. So what she would do was she
Mm-hmm.
would every day she would roll the concept into a story, in a nice kind of story, which would have
Mm-hmm.
characters. Say somebody opened a business and then hit a downfall. Now how would we
Mm-hmm.
do accounting for that guy? And
Okay.
what she would also do was she would bring props to the class. So
Okay.
I remember that one day we were doing some football case study, like a soccer
Mm-hmm.
case study, and she would wear a Manchester United jersey or something like that.
Okay.
So, so every lecture we would anticipate what the prop would be, and
Okay.
it became a big reveal kind of thing. So
Uh-huh.
it keeps the interest going, and you like to learn, right? So that's cool.
Okay. And other than her, do you have any other, would you like to name any other professor from university who might be very famous because of his popularity among students or because of his contribution in his work?
Sure. Uh, for sure, like marketing prof is super
Mm-hmm.
famous on the campus, uh, mainly because he attends a lot of parties with us, with students.
Okay.
So you are likely to see him or like bump into him. And there are a lot of other professors, like a lot of other professors who are famous for their work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean there are. I
Okay.
can't name a few because like they're doing.
Okay, so I now want you to rate the academic pressure and workload in your program on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest.
Okay, that is a bit difficult to do because uh, so from 1 to 10, I would say it's academic workload is almost like 6 or something. So
Okay.
it's not that high. It would be, but then the major challenge is to balance academics with your recruiting because recruiting
Mm-hmm.
is super intense. So
Okay.
and there are a lot of activities going on. So
Mm-hmm.
the academic load is not that much, but time management is the biggest thing. So
Factor,
because
yeah.
of that, yeah, because of that, the academic workload increases because you're doing a lot of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if you are not doing anything, like is
Mm-hmm.
academic stuff is not such a huge chunk.
Okay, now let's talk about the number of hours a student from your program will spend in a week doing homework, listening to lectures, and making projects.
Uh, okay, pretty much the whole day, I think. But yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, so we have like lectures each day for around 3 hours, or like
Mm-hmm.
depends on how much. So everything is optional, how much course you take or how much like you want to do actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say typically in a day, I would spend easily around 7 hours or so.
7 hours. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
And the
it
intensity
changes, of
might
course,
increase when you have assignments
for
and
sure.
exams.
Like you sometimes have to pull like late nighters or so it depends.
Okay.
Yeah, like 7 hours I told you the average, but sometimes you would be only spending 3 hours, whereas sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you would be spending the whole night completing a project
Okay.
or so.
Okay. Now tell us about the course structure in your program. Is there something you really like about, or if something which you don't like about?
So one thing I really like about it is so how the course structure is when you come in as a first year, there are a set
Mm-hmm.
of core courses. So
Mm-hmm.
like coming in, you are overwhelmed with multiple things. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
need to think which course you should take or you should not take because there are
Mm-hmm.
core courses, and those core courses bring everybody on a like same level.
Mm-hmm.
So and then from second year onwards or like later in first year also, you are free to choose a lot of electives.
Okay.
So that is what I like. So you learn something on a basic level and then you are free to explore your interests. So
Okay.
which is really wonderful. I think yeah, that is the thing that I like about the courses.
Mm-hmm.
Also the way that they teach it, like everything is in a case study form.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And what I don't like is um I can't think of anything. Maybe
Okay.
super early morning classes.
Okay. Now let's talk about tuition fee, even though you have a fully funded scholarship. But in
Mhm.
case if a student, an international student wants to do this course, what is the tuition fee that would incur for the whole program? And on top of tuition fee, what would be the charges that he or she has to keep in mind when it comes to housing, transportation, and insurance?
Okay. So the tuition fee, if I'm not wrong, is around 144K
Mm-hmm.
uh, for a total of 2 years, I think. There's
Mm-hmm.
something on that. It's available on the website. And
Mm-hmm.
apart from that, your monthly expenses would, again, depending on how you like, what's your standard of living, how you live, how much
Mm-hmm.
you spend. It comes around like mostly around $1,500 to $2,000 in the middle of
Okay.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we like as I said that there are a lot of events. So sometimes if you go to a lot of events, you are
Mm-hmm.
mostly near $2,000.
Okay.
because sometimes you also have to travel and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say an average of $1,500 to $20 per month.
Okay. And when you say you have a fully funded scholarship, is it covering your entire tuition fee plus the expenses, or just tuition fee alone?
Just tuition fee.
Just tuition fee. Okay. And also, I want you to tell our viewers, other than the scholarship that you have received, are there any other merit-based or need-based scholarship that a student can apply for?
Yeah. So how it happens is that as an international, when you apply, you do
Mm-hmm.
not need to fill any separate form for scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
If they like the profile, they would themselves offer you a scholarship, which can
Okay.
range from a fully funded to 20% or 10%,
Mm-hmm.
15%. So that is the first step, like that is the
Mm-hmm.
first chance of getting a scholarship. But that
Mm-hmm.
is not the only chance. During the course also, we keep getting emails. So there are various sponsors or alumni which have their
Mm-hmm.
scholarships, which are mostly merit based. I'm not sure if there are a lot of need based too,
Mm-hmm.
but so they would ask you to write an essay about yourself or what do you like or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these things keep on coming, and if you fill them up and they found you a match, uh,
Mm-hmm.
there is a chance of getting a scholarship.
Okay. Well, that's really helpful.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your future plan. You said you wanna build your career in consulting business, and I want to know how much is your career center or counselors helping you achieve that?
Yeah, so here we, so I'm more inclined towards like both consulting and tech. So here
Mm-hmm.
we have like a kind of parallel path where you focus on two things.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm super excited about my internship at Amazon and like working there and the tech role, the product
Mm-hmm.
manager role. So and like I'll complete the internship and then maybe have a chat with my counselor to see what is the right direction to move in.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you were lucky to get into an internship, but in case if a student doesn't get, how much does career center or counselors help them out in finding one?
So in like in sense of helping, there is always help. Like few of my friends who did not get internship early enough, so
Mm-hmm.
the career center was forming groups of like separate groups of people can meet each other. They were
Mm-hmm.
having like networking events where you can talk to people, talk to
Mm-hmm.
recruiters. So those things were happening. Uh, at the end, like there also an option of doing a research project under professors, which count as an internship. So if
Okay.
somebody is interested in that, that is
Mm-hmm.
also like super cool. You also
Mm-hmm.
get paid for that, so
Mm-hmm.
that is nice. And I mean, like sooner or later, like most of the people end up with a decent internship.
Okay. And would you like to talk about some companies who hire student as an intern or as a full-time employee on completion of the course from your university?
Yeah, so like there's a huge variety of obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but to name the most famous one, so in consulting it would be McKinsey, BCG, Bain. In tech it would be Amazon, Facebook, Google, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and similarly in other fields too. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
most of the most famous and well-known companies come to the campus to recruit.
Okay. And now I want you to talk about one mistake that you would have made or your friends would have made, which you don't want future student to make.
Sure. Uh, so one mistake that I wouldn't want like everybody to make was, so when I came into MBA, I was super excited, but
Mm-hmm.
I did not prepare myself very well for the MBA in terms of I did not have like very much clarity in what I was interested in or what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do, right? As well as I was not very well versed in business. By that, I did not read business newspapers. I
Mm-hmm.
were not reading a lot of business articles. So
Mm-hmm.
that is one thing I think like future students should do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you are coming to a business school, that means you have an interest in business. And if
Mm-hmm.
you have an interest in business, start reading about it. Like if some new business is booming, or if like Uber is going into loss or WeWork is closing
Mm-hmm.
down, like you should know about that, because when the firms come to recruit you, you need to talk to them on something, and like having interest, or like having business interest or general interest, and having something common to talk on really helps.
Okay.
So start doing that like early on.
Okay. And my last and very important question, any advice that you want to give to future student?
Sure. Like future student who is choosing between the schools, or like
Yeah,
which
it could be
stage?
anything, choosing between the school, or if they have to come to US to study, or choosing between courses, or in general.
I mean, like choosing between the schools is, I think, like very difficult for many people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have decided to come to US, uh, talk to a lot of people from each school. Like just don't depend on what's available online, and please do not just depend on the rankings of the school. It's really important that you talk to the people who are studying there, because then you see like where you fit the most, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
kind of people you vibe with, you bond with, and that
Mm-hmm.
really helps your time at the school.
Maybe
So
ConnectBud can also help them.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like that is like Connect But is actually doing that. So there's a great chance of like, because we had to, because I did not know about Connect But, I had to find like people through LinkedIn or somewhere, somehow find
Mm-hmm.
connections, and it was very difficult. But if there's a platform that helps doing so, it is really great.
Okay. So, Umang, this was really helpful, and I know for sure a lot of aspirant would find it interesting before, and reviewing, seeing your interview before choosing between the college. And I really wish you all the luck. And I want to tell the viewers that in case if they want to connect with Umang, they can use our platform, www.connectbud.com. Thank you so much, Umang, and you have a good evening.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Amita. Same to you.
Bye.